Hello everybody, and just the video I made a couple days ago, I showed this great big drop I had of my half black green guppies. And let me show you what I got going on now. I just found these fry half black greens in the tank with the adults, so another one of them dropped, and I'm sure I didn't get all of them, but I got about a dozen more. I'm gonna put them in there with the other ones, but let's start the video off doing that. We got some of these additional half black greens, and since this tank's already dedicated to growing out half black greens, there's even more in there now. She got them all there. There's still one in there. These guys. Get out of there. Let's see, we got... Yep. Okay, so I got lots of stuff going on with guppies. I've made lots of changes. Things are picking back up again and getting things back in order. I've got some more meds coming in to finally beat the internal parasite problem, I think, once and for all, hopefully. So look at all these shrimp have gone crazy in here. So I took the basket out of here. So I figured I'd talk about all my guppy tanks real quick. Not in detail, but just real quick. Because I've made a bunch of changes here this weekend. So you got these 4 drop tanks right here. Now they have been drop tanks. All 4 had baskets. But now I've got a different strategy, and the basket will go in this, will go bye-bye in this tank eventually. But some of these lines that I really want to dedicate a lot of time and effort into, I'm going to give them 3 tanks and breeder baskets now. So that's what we got going on here. So now this tank probably will be the only one that stays a basket, because I've had success and I have my panda breeder group in there, and then when the fry get big enough, I put them in the 29 gallon that I'll talk about next. And then this is going to be my breeding group now of king kois. So that's what we got going on in here. The breeding group, there are 3 more. So I think I have 7 females and 2 males in the breeding group. And I have 3 breeder boxes, and there'll be 3 of them at all times for this line. And then here we are, we have the, right now it's half black green grow out. There's probably 100 fry in here, so I'm hoping these guys will be hitting their prime in the springtime, and I'll be able to start an outdoor tub with a whole bunch of these guys. So that'd be pretty awesome. And this will end up losing the basket too. These are the full reds I have. There's some fry in here. I'm waiting for this big girl to drop. She's getting, looked like she was in labor earlier tonight, but oh, she looks like she's in labor now probably. Waiting for her to drop. There's like at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 fry putting around in there somewhere. There's some fry waiting for her to drop. And then we have this tank, but there's no guppies in there. And then this tank on the floor will, when I get the koi fry, so I don't have to use the breeder boxes to raise the fry. As soon as they drop the fry, take the female out, put another pregnant female in, and all the fry will come in here. And then when the fry are all, when the fry end up getting big enough that they're not going to get 8 in the community tank, the community koi tank, then they'll go in there. So there's 3 tanks and breeder baskets. There's the breeder group, the fry tank, the community tank, which is where all the fry go when they get too big, in here. That's where they'll all end up. And those will be the ones that I select future breeders from and sell and that kind of stuff. And then over here is my other panda guppy tank. Now I think in the end, these pandas, they're not real bad fry eaters. So I'm thinking here in the end, once I get this, I've tried growing a val wall back here, jungle val and spiral val forever, and I can't get it to grow. Every time I try putting val in this tank, it just melts. Don't understand why. So this pearl weed that I've managed to have somehow miraculously found a piece of it still surviving in a 75 gallon, and it took off and started doing good. And so I ended up keeping of that. I put in a couple 3 patches, and then for the last month or so it's been kind of growing, and then this weekend I ended up spreading it out even more. So this is what we got, and this crypt is doing real good. So hopefully when I get this cover going, because that stuff will get tall eventually. I haven't done it in a long time. I've been dosing ferts in this tank to get these plants growing up and got cover for these panda fry. Put a bunch of them right here. Okay, so then you've seen the ones in here. Now, there's one more thing in here that we'll talk about. That's what everyone's favorite. Back in here, this is what everyone wants to see all the time, is the guppy pond. It's just all my mixes and culls and lines I quit doing, and interbreeding, hybrids, and all kinds of crazy stuff. All kinds of variety in there. So that's that in here. So, and then the rest of it is going to be in the fish room closet. Now, this is a rack of 8 40-gallon breeders from the floor to the ceiling, but only these 2 have guppies in it, so those are the only 2 we'll talk about here. But we have 5 20 longs. They're all guppy and antler tanks. And we have 5 more 20 longs that are all guppy and antler tanks. So let's see what we got over here. These are the steel nebulas. Some old men and some young girls and a bunch of fry. I did save a bunch of fry, but looks like we got a new drop in here. Here's a new baby. Getting some fry, but I actually got this line from Valley Fish a long time ago, and then I was battling the internal parasites, and these guys were hit hard with it. Then I culled them down and ended up having to get some more females off of him because I sucked at this line. With my problems I had there for a while. But now they're doing good, and there's even babies making it in the tank, it looks like now, so that's pretty cool. And then below that we have Japan Blues. I love these guys. They're so pretty, they're so easy. All I do is colony breed, and every so often, like, yeah, there's some uglies. I take them out, throw them in the pond, and that's that with these guys. It's so easy. They don't really eat fry. They're old school, so they're really resistant. A lot of the newer, fancier lines are, yeah. susceptible to disease real easy because of the inbreeding, but this is an old school line. They're tough. Very rarely have problems. Easy colony breed. Good line. And then down here we've got the full reds, and unfortunately one of the females passed away. I was doing my water changes and found her. So I started off with 3 girls and that boy. The other girl's still in the drop tank. Look, she's the one I said I thought was still in labor. So there's that guy right there. I cannot wait. I'm gonna have a bunch of these guys. I'm gonna put a lot of effort into doing these guys good. Put a lot of effort into working this line. Keep it, well, there's nothing I can do to make it better, but keep it in the shape that it's in. And this tank is the breeding group for these, and they're just the originals I have. I started off with. You try this worm? You gonna eat it? Guess not. Alright, and then down here, this is the half black green, and the tank is, the glass is super dirty, sorry. This is the breeding group of those guys. If I can get the focus on the fish and not the, gonna have some more drops, it looks like. Looks like that one dropped and the other one dropped in the drop tank. And I'm sure there's still some fry in here around it. I didn't catch all of them. And down here on the floor tank, I have some red grass. They're pretty nice. Let's see if we can find some more. Being really dirty glass. This thing's on the floor. It don't get paid much attention to be honest. Just a line to have a line. Just so I can stash them. Looks like she's getting ready to drop. That's pretty cool. Alright. So that tank was a bummer because I'm sure I didn't get very good pictures of it. Got the 40s with the 240s with guppies in it. And this is going to be my full red community when all the fry get too big. When the fry get big enough not to be ate. This is where they're gonna live. And this is my first, there's a couple drops in here I think, my first 2 drops. So there's definitely a decent number of fish in here. Some already getting their colors. Nice big healthy fish. And you may see lots of poops because they just got fed and they've got levamisole going through them right now. So but the medication I'm going to use in addition to the levamisole that as soon as it comes in is fenbendazole. I'm not sure if I'll make a video on it just yet until I make sure it's safe. What I'm doing is going to work. So that's what we'll eventually talk about, but probably not for a little while. And then up above it we have the Midnight Blue Moscows. 40-gallon tank. I think I'm just going to do a 40-gallon. This is going to be the only tank for these guys for the time being. We'll end up moving some tanks around, but we'll see. Okay, and then the last 5 tanks, I'll do this one on the floor. It's just another, it's these guys that I'm going to end up doing something different with. But there's still some in there. And then this next tank up is the king koi's, and this will be their where the fry, when the fry grow up, this is where they'll go live. This will be the tank that, you know, most of them end up going. We have the breeder tank, and then the most pregnant females. So since we have a tank, an empty tank of just waiting for fry, as soon as these guys drop, there's one in there. As soon as these guys drop, then they'll go back in the breeder tank, and the fry will go in the fry tank, and I'll get 3 other females to go in here and drop again. So there's never, I'm not having to wait for the fry to grow up in the breeder baskets. The fry have their own tank to go to. So hopefully it'll be like a conveyor belt of production. If things work out the way I'm hoping. And then this next tank up, there's not much in here. It's the blue steels I've had for almost a year. They had something wrong with them, sterile or something. Never had any fry. They're still, I think there's one male barely still alive, and I think I'm down to 1 female too. I think I'm down to a pair, but there's not really much to see there. Let's see if we can get a look at them. Yeah, I think there's just the 1 female. That's all I'm seeing. And that male who's really gimp. I don't know. But I'm thinking I'm gonna, that tank on the floor that has the moss cows in it, I'm going to do away with that. And then these guys I'm giving up on. There's a little better picture of it, because I'm never going to get any fry. And then the line I've been working on, well, I don't know if I'd say when I was doing it first was working on it, but having it. I've been working it pretty hard for the last 2.5, 3 years, I'd say. And this is an old school red mosaic line, and I've been trying and trying to get it better, and you got kind of a messy tail. Let's see, but I've seen a couple here that I'm really excited about. This one, I think it is, maybe that guy in the back. Yeah, there's a couple in here I'm super excited about. There's some really nice fish in here. I had a bunch of babies grow up, did some culling. I still have a few in there that I can call out, but I think this tank below is going to end up being my breeding group. I want to dedicate 3 tanks to these guys, and a breeder basket or 2. Keep a trio, a breeder trio in that tank below it. I think that's what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put more time into more tanks into doing this line right. Because I really like them a lot. They've been my favorite. They were my favorite for years. I mean, they might not be my favorite now, but I like them a lot. And these are my line. I can only blame myself for their shortcomings. 4 years is a lot of time to have a line. I didn't really know what I was doing the first 2.5. Still don't know what I'm doing, but I know more when it comes to doing these guppies. And then the last tank is actually not guppies. It is. These are actually my rainbow tiger antlers that I've had just as long as those mosaics. Almost 4 years. These guys have been, I had my last round of parasite issues. These guys were hit real hard and I haven't had any fry for a while. And I'm just now starting to see some fat females get pregnanted up. There's still some that are skinny, but they're getting better. That one is getting ready to drop some babies. Rainbow tiger antlers off Lucas Brett's like 4 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago. I don't know. It's been a long time. I've had these guys. I'll probably always try to keep a tank of them. There's one of them weird males I need to call out. I just called out a bunch of those like that. I have to call this guy when I'm done with the video. But there's, oh, where'd you go? I was looking down, saw a really good looking one, but now I can't find it. If he didn't have his fin, and Nick missing out of his fin, this guy would be one of my favorites. See. Oh, there. Yeah, there's a good one. That's the one that I want to keep for my breeder. Okay. There's a quick look at, I won't call it a full tour, but just a quick update because I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm in the middle of changing a lot of stuff, and so thank y'all for watching. Bye.